yes, San Antonio and global listeners, it's that time. It's that time. Call a friend, call a neighbor. Oh, yes, we have a special guest today in the house with us. Oh, yes. Oh, you're going to love him. You're going to love him. He'll be here in just a minute. All because we've come to bless somebody. Dr. Brian, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, bless. Doctor, share with us who you are and what's going on.
All right. So my name is Brian Parris. I'm the president of the San Antonio Association of Real Estate Brokers. SARE's mission is to help minority families get into home ownership. We do so by making sure the realtor population is familiar with and able to help the community. Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't know what it takes to get into home ownership. They feel that it requires a 700 credit score and I require $15,000 to $20,000 down, but it's not that hard. And sometimes I think we make it hard on ourselves. So the other part of what we do is help the community with other things to take that first step towards home ownership. You may not be ready to buy a house right now, but you do want to fix your credit, or you do want to understand how credit works, or you do want to get a budget that helps you save money. And when you do save that money, where can you put it so that it's effective? Those are some of the things that we're going to be teaching on the 14th of September.
Okay, that's going to be at Second Baptist Church right here in San Antonio.
Fantastic location.
Oh, suke. I mean, you're going to be having things that's going on, and it's just people can actually get involved and have fun at this event.
Yeah, we didn't want to just have classes, but we wanted to have fun, like you said. So there's going to be a DJ there playing music. We're going to use 3 food trucks to help for food. There's going to be popcorn. There's going to be live entertainment. The bowling alley is going to be open for the participants. There's going to be face painting and balloon stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun for everybody.
San Antonio, this is an opportunity for you to come, learn, but also excitement is going to be going on. Not just for you, but also for your children too.
Right.
And that's going to be at 3310 East Commerce right here.
That is correct.
At the Second Baptist Church. They have a nice building that they built. Woo.
That is an awesome building. They did a really good job setting that place up.
Okay. Share with us a little bit more about about the building, because I'm getting ready to get married.
Oh, congratulations. All right. Very good.
And we were looking for a home, and and I'm like, that's one of the things that I shared with her, that hey, we got to make sure our credit is right.
Right, exactly. So, one of the things that we get brainwashed that credit is so hard to fix, or so hard to improve on, or even hard to build. You have to, be in it for a long time, but you really don't. There's several little small things you can do to maintain and build your credit. If you do have credit cards, keep them under 30% utilization. So if you've got a $500 credit line, don't spend more than $150. The more diverse your credit is, for example, also can help build your score. So if I just have credit cards, that's one score. But if I have a credit card, a mortgage, a car note, different types of credit, then that strengthens my score as well.
Now, I don't want to call no names, but I've seen some people that they have exactly 8 different credit cards. And one of the bad things I felt that, okay, well, when this one gets them okay, then they turn over to this one, and they keep using different credit cards.
Right. See, I tell my daughters, and between my wife and I, we have 5 daughters, and credit is something that you use strategically, use intentionally. You use it to build up, not to buy groceries or get that impulse purchase. If you do use credit, you have a purpose for it, because it's going to help you move forward in life, not necessarily keep you treading water.
Okay. And what is the biggest downfall that people have today in using their credit cards?
They max them out. Credit is a risk game, and the more risky you come across, the harder it is for you to get new credit. So anytime, and that magic number seems to be 30%, like I mentioned earlier. So if I'm at 75-80% utilization on my credit, I'm using 75-80% of the credit line that they've been giving me, then lenders will say, well, what is he doing that he's got to use so much credit? What is he doing? Maybe we shouldn't lend him any more money. Maybe we need to peg his score down a bit so it's harder to get credit. So just making sure that when you use it intentionally.
Okay. Now, for those that don't have credit, is how hard is it for them to be able to purchase a home with no credit?
There's a path. I strongly believe that if you want to buy a home, that you're on the path to home ownership. Now that path may be 30 days. You may have an 800 credit score and you have $5,000 in the bank, but your other people's path may be 6 months. It may be 2 years. As long as you're on the path, you can accomplish your goal. Okay. So how to build credit? A lot of credit unions do have what they call a secured card, where you put down a certain amount of money in a savings account and they'll give you a credit line that same amount. And then as you start building that relationship, then you can get an unsecured credit card where you can now start diversifying what kind of credit you have and lead you down the path.
Listen to what he's saying, San Antonio global listeners, that relationship is important, just as a relationship in marriage.
Right, absolutely.
The relationship with your credit.
That is correct. You have to be a disciple of your credit.
Okay. San Antonio global listeners, we're talking to Mr. Brian Parrish, and a remarkable man of God that is doing great things, and it's going to be happening right here in San Antonio at the Second Baptist Church in their beautiful
Community Center.
There we go. And which is right next to the Second Baptist Church. You can't miss it. It's 3310 East Commerce Street here in San Antonio, Texas. Come one, come all. Now, you don't necessarily just have to be from San Antonio.
No.
Okay.
No. There's a lot of opportunities. So even if you're visiting the city, we're going to talk about like down payment assistance programs. There are programs that are out there that will help you, give you money towards buying a home. And we're going to talk about those different programs and how you qualify for them. We're going to talk about the other thing that's important in our community too is, we talk about buying a home, but what happens when somebody passes away and they have a home? What happens with that? There's a lot of opportunities lost in our community because they don't know what to do. They don't know about probate. They don't know about wills. We don't know necessarily how to make sure we keep grandma's house in the family when she passes away, and that's another class we'll be teaching as well.
Now, I'm going to step probably a little bit outside of the line, but there are situations where people have been caught up to where that you sign a statement to that if where that the government can take over your household if you don't keep up the payments. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that puts a lot of people, and a lot of folks don't understand what they're doing. All they know is that, okay, I'm trying to get equity, or I'm trying to make it better for myself. But I look at it as it's a setup to lose your home if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so one of the things that happens too is, like you mentioned, somebody passes away, the house becomes mine per se, but I don't pay the taxes. Mm-hmm. And if the taxes don't get paid, that's that tax lien that happens where the city or the entity, the municipality can take your home from you. Same thing with an HOA. There are other different entities that can take the home from the family member, even though they've been paying the mortgage. So it's important to know those things and know what you have to do from the left to the right so that the house stays in the family.
Okay. Now, you'll be breaking all this down at the community center.
That's correct.
Will there be different sessions?
Yes. There are actually 11 different classes that we're offering, and we'll be doing them twice. So there's going to be an AM session and a PM session for all 11 classes.
Okay. What time will it start?
The classes will start at 10:30, but the event starts at 10 o'clock.
Okay, the classes starts at 10:30.
Mm-hmm. And we finish up at 4.
At 4. San Antonio global listeners, you don't want to miss it. Once again, it's going to be happening at 3310 East Commerce Street here in San Antonio, Texas, at the Second Baptist
Church
Community Center. And once again, we're talking to Mr. Brian Parrish, and I like him already. I mean, both of us sitting up here with bald heads.
There you go.
But listen, share with us a little bit more. Okay, not only will you be talking about real estate, but also what else will you be talking about?
When we think about generational wealth, and to me, that's when I can pass something down to my kids and they can pass it down to their kids. How do we teach the kids how to use that money? So financial education for the young adults, the 17, 16, and 15-year-olds, just knowing how to manage money, how to balance credit, how to have a budget. We're not really taught that much in schools, or it's just now starting to be taught. So usually when you learn how to budget your money, you just go through the school of hard knocks. You learn, well, I shouldn't do that now that I've already done it. Okay, it's too late. But let's start that education with our kids at around 8, 9, and 10. Wants versus needs. Do I want, I've got $50 in my pocket, it's burning a hole, I can put $40 in a savings account, and I can put the other 10 I can buy something that I want. But I want to start becoming a saver, not just always a spender. And those different concepts we'll be teaching as well. When we get to the older kids, let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about the goal for my daughters is when they get ready to move out of their house, they are able to buy their own. But that doesn't start at 19. You've got to start that lesson at 15, 14, 13. So that becomes a saving mentality. And I've known kids that at 19 have bought their first home. And that didn't start when they turned 19. That started because their parents taught them way earlier. How do we get that information out there? Let's talk about the rule of 72 and what that means. So you have a couple of $1,000. Let's talk about investing in the stock market. Let's have those general conversations. And the concepts aren't hard. It is not always exposed.
Ladies, are you listening? Are you listening to Mr. Paris? He is talking, and I say this because over the years in my life, I've run across so many women that have said, I need to depend, I can't leave this man because I need this man. And the word says, my people are destroyed because of the lack of knowledge.
Right.
And if we don't know how to budget, ladies, if you don't know how to budget your money and how to be able to utilize $50,
yep,
okay, which can hold you out if though that you had $100, okay, it's all according to how you spend it. So if you come out, ladies, men, young ladies, come out. And that's going to be this month, September the 14th, 3310 East Commerce Street here in San Antonio at the Community Center at Second Baptist Church. Mr. Brian Parrish is headlining this, and there are going to be different classes starting at 10:30.
Right, first class starts at 10:30.
Okay, but the doors open at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Come one, come all. That's including you, Lockhart, Texas, Seguin, Texas, Corpus Christi, wherever you are.
It's not that far a drive.
Knowledge will happen. Talk to us a little bit more.
Sure. One of the other things that was important to us also is insurance. Making sure, because a lot of people feel that they can't afford insurance, but in my mind, you can't afford not to have insurance.
Okay, now what kind of insurance are you talking about?
All different types. So, as you just mentioned, insurance comes into property and casualty, and health insurance and life insurance. Having all three is an important part of your foundation, because I'm the sole breadwinner of my family. If something happens to me, if I don't have insurance, my family goes through hardship, and that can't be. And so many of us are so close to being unemployed or losing that mainstream of income and having nothing to protect the assets that we've accumulated. That's a difficult conversation. We have to find a way to fix that.
Well, let me ask you this question, because I was in a conversation, well, matter of fact, with two people this week. They had lost a loved one, and one family member have said that they wanted to have them cremated. And another family member said no. And then they began to start trying to work on building the finances or getting, to pay for it, because they didn't want it cremated.
Right.
I had a loved one in my family. One of my uncles had died, and they wanted to cremate him. And my father's sister said no. We need to give him a proper burial.
Right.
Help us in that area, because some folks feel like there's no other way.
Honestly, the first thing is having a will. making sure that your requests are necessary. My wife knows that when I pass away, they're gonna put me in a convert. No, I'm not gonna say that, but she knows what I would like to happen when I pass.
Okay.
So having that documented in a will is really important. And then number two, I know there are programs out there or different types of policies available that will cover your last wishes before it happens. It's a tough thing already to worry about, a loved one passing, and then you've got to have conversations about, well, how do we do it, and if there's not enough money in it, that's just a lot of unnecessary stress because you don't have those early conversations up front. Hey, you know what, I want to be cremated because that's what I want. Or I'd like to be buried. I'd like to have a burial plot next to my wife, and those things can be discussed early and up front, but we don't seem to have those conversations because they are painful.
Okay, and I'm gonna tap on this. When a person dies and a person have a good establishment, why is there such an argument? That belongs to me. That belongs to me. Why all this fussing and fighting?
I think part of it is, like I said, that my wishes, if I'm the person who's passing away, haven't been clearly communicated. I'm going to give a certain portion to all of my daughters, and it's going to be documented and very clear what I want to happen. And that takes away a lot of the argument. Well, Brian said that's what he wanted. If we have those conversations, we have those things documented, it makes it a lot easier for those material possessions to be given to the person that wants them.
Okay. Once again, San Antonio Global listeners, this is going to be happening at 3310 East Commerce. Knowledge will be given out to you. Us, old school. I hate to say it, but when I look back at ones that I went to high school with, a good friend of mine, we look at each other like everybody's gone.
I know, we're getting to that age.
And it's good to have a will. So we want to tap on it, get some education.
There you go.
Get some education. This coming Saturday at Second Baptist Church, 3310 East Commerce, because one day you're gonna pass away. With all, and I hate to say it like this, but the drive-by shootings, you never know. A person recently just passed away, went to sleep, and didn't wake up.
Yeah.
And that could have been us. But thank God we're still living today. But it's always good to be able to cover yourself. Now, stepping over, what else you gonna be talking about?
One thing that also makes it very difficult is student loans. Student loans is one of those I'm going to put necessary in quotes, necessary evils that you have.
Ooh, you covering all areas.
Yeah. I've dealt with clients that because they've had either delinquent student loans or they've had just an enormous amount of student loans that they were unable to buy a home. So are there things that my 15, 16, 17-year-old can do before getting into college to get scholarships and grants? And those funds are available, but you have to dig them out. Like anything that's precious, you got to dig them out. Where are they? What kind of relationships can they build early so that college doesn't have to be an overwhelming thing?
Okay.
And we're going to have two people talking about those. One of them is actually who just graduated from college, and she's going to break down what she did to avoid college loan debt. Important to know about college student loans is that even though they're in deferment, you don't have to pay them now. Lenders still look at that as a debt that's coming. And depending on the type of loan, they'll take 1% of that debt and make that part of your monthly payment. So if I own $200,000 of student loan debt, then $2,000 of my income gets hit for that. And that's a hard conversation to have too as a lender. So how do we overcome student loan debt? How do we avoid student loan? Get the education, but not necessarily the debt that follows you around.
Okay. Woo! Loan. Now, what's important? Because, a lot of people look at, well, when I went to college, and when I left college, I couldn't find a job. So, people, and then you start looking at, well, it's better for me to go to a mechanic school, or it's better for me to, I can got all this education.
Right.
So what do I do?
So one of the things that I've talked to my daughters about is the importance of networking, even at a young age. You know, I am so blessed that I know so many different people in different areas. So my daughter says, "Hey, I want to be this." I'm thinking who I can connect them with, so that when they do need that, hey, you know, can you connect with the right person? They already have some relationships built at 19, 20, 21. So when they get out of college, they have that connection. Networking is a very important tool that sometimes gets underused. Internships, you know, because I know as an employer, when I worked at Citibank, when I was interviewing people, yes, you have this paper that says you know what you're supposed to be doing, but do you have the necessary hands-on education as well that tells not only were you taught it, but you've also done it.
Okay.
So internships are an important way too to kind of get your feet wet, and whether they're paid internships or not, or, you know, summer intern, all those things are important to build that healthy portfolio of not only did I learn it, but I've also done it as well. That makes it really important.
If you're uptown, downtown, around town, come on over to the east side of town, 3310 East Commerce Street, San Antonio. Education. We're never too old to get some education.
My mom bought her first home in Texas at 68. So, you know, during the whole process, oh, I'm too old to buy a home, I'm too old. No, you're never too old. You're never too young. 18. You know, I've known a guy at 19 who bought his first home.
You know, my mother graduated from SMU.
Oh, okay.
At, I think she was about 55.
Wow.
You know, and in theology. And so, I mean, and she's still going strong.
Very nice.
You know, so education, you know, it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always good to cover areas because, and it's sad to say, and some of my pastor friends might get on me about this. But a lot that you're talking about is mostly taught in Caucasian churches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of us, and so what you're teaching on, not only just, I know you're having an expo on the 14th, but if pastors wanted you to come to their church, would you go?
Without a doubt.
Okay. What's the number? How can they get in touch with you?
So the best way to get in touch with SAREB could be to visit our website, and there's a contact us link. But I'll give you my phone number as well. It's 210-445-8963.
Okay. And that's Mr. Brian Parrish. And once again, before we leave, it's going to be happening this Saturday at Second Baptist Church at 3310 East Commerce Street here in San Antonio, Texas. And if you would like more information, once again, feel free to call.
Absolutely. Brian Parrish, 210-445-8963, or email me, bmparis@hotmail.com.
You've been listening to Rhema Gospel Express. This is what we do right here. Let you know what's going on in our city, not just for ones in San Antonio, but as well as for ones all around the globe. Continue to stay tuned. We have much more music coming your way right here on Rhema Gospel Express.
We have those things documented. It makes it a lot easier for